What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical, episode 65. Burke and Julian are back in the building. We here for, first, we did one episode recently. I had my boy Alex on. Shout out to Alex for coming through this weekend.
Who the fuck is Alex?
Alex is a legend. I work with him.
Yeah, like
co-worker.
Who was that guy? like most
videos doing numbies right now. Almost at 100 views long for him.
Wow.
So if you're watching this, like, subscribe, comment on YouTube, listen on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We're there.
We're sitting here doing this for 100 people to watch us on YouTube.
Hey man,
Gotta start somewhere, right? Gotta start
a lot of times we do not get 100 viewers. Do not
Gotta start somewhere. Gotta start somewhere.
That. But all right, a lot's going on right now. Is there anything you guys want to specifically start with? I think we should just dive into rookie QBs.
Caleb?
I think the thing that's going around right now is like, did the what's the big rumor?
That
They want
like,
Tyson.
That there's a lot of veterans in the locker room saying that they'd rather have Tyson Bagent than. I think that's a crazy statement.
I'm not buying that. I think it's just like the media. The media sucks, bro. I can't. Every time I go on Twitter,
why would the media make that up?
Because they make weird.
Well, because
that's just a weird angle.
But like, there's a lot of media guys that are also just like fans of the team that just end up becoming media because they write about they wrote and blogged for that team about it, and then they get hired for that team. So like, there is a chance that these guys that are just sick of Caleb Williams that are like, give me Tyson Bagent,
right?
Which is obscene because.
Yeah, I think the thing is though is like the thing that you can if you're looking at these QBs, like this is the best rookie quarterback class in a while. Like the Bears kind of like, I don't know, bro. If I'm looking at all these QBs, like the best rookie quarterback by a mile to me is Jaden Daniels.
It's not by a mile.
I would say it's Bo Nix. Then it's like, I guess Caleb, but then maybe Drake May.
I think Drake May
has been really good too. But Caleb Williams,
Drake May has been good. But Bo Nix has been playing really well,
dude.
Too.
Great football.
A good system, though,
and if you look at, all right, yes, Sean Payton, we know he's like an established coach. If you look at this,
but that's with every quarterback ever. Like, you need coaching to develop.
But if you look at the supporting cast, the Bears have far and away the best supporting cast, and Caleb Williams is just, he doesn't look good. Like, understandably, the line has not been great.
He is running for his life a lot.
Yeah, he is. But if you look at the guys like Jaden Daniels, like he has Terry, he has Brian Robinson. They've got a lot of decent players. If you look at Bo Nix, who's got Cortland Sutton, and that backfield every week, it feels like there's a new running back.
Yeah, been changing up, and outside of
and then you got Drake
Sutton,
May.
It's really just.
And then Drake May, it's like I cannot name anyone outside of Ramondre Stevenson.
He's got no one. He's got no one to throw to,
and he's playing good football too.
Yeah,
I think Bo Nix. Yeah, Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix to me have far and away been the best rookies. Yeah. Then I guess it's kind of a toss-up between Caleb and Drake, and you could say it's the line coaching, but
think even Drake May he looks a little bit more comfortable than Caleb. It's like there's games where Caleb looks really good, and there's games you're just looking at him like he's just running around like he's back at USC, I can just sling the ball, do whatever I want, and the decisions aren't there because these guys are bigger, faster, stronger in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of with Caleb is like, obviously you're a rookie and this is like what's going to happen, but it's like there's a lot of him just trying to do too much instead of taking what the defense is giving him. So he's trying to extend plays and do all these things, and it just kind of ends up looking a little ridiculous. But
has Caleb Williams had a good game against a good team? Because his best game is against the pitiful Jags defense. Like he had 4 or 5 touchdowns that game. Like, what are his stats? Because I don't think he's had consistently good weeks.
No, he definitely hasn't had it's strung together 2 or 3 good games in a row. I mean, 4 and 5. Who they beaten?
His 2 good games this year against Caleb Williams. 2 good games this year is against the Panthers and the Jags.
Exactly.
Weeks 5 and 6.
He's beaten the Rams.
I mean,
he didn't really do anything against them.
That's what I'm saying. He's not the reason they're winning these games.
He's had 3 decent games this year, and the first one was against the Colts in week 3. Then he had a good game in week 5 against the Panthers, and then he had a good game in week 6 against the Jags. I don't know why I said it like that, the Jags, but yeah, he's been pretty bad ever since then.
So I don't know. I'm not. He's young. He's 22. I'll give him time to develop. But
he's beating bad teams.
I think you can kind of tell early on if a guy's going to be able to possibly lead a franchise to something special. And I haven't seen that from him. I've seen more from Jaden Daniels, obviously. He could do something with that Washington Commanders team.
Redskins.
Yeah.
Not on this podcast.
Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix look like seasoned vets. That's how they're completely just in control of the
I
games,
think
and they're
it's
not
also-
making like stupid mistakes. They're
Yeah,
just playing
I
good
think that's the
football.
big thing is
Right.
like not making mistakes. Like Bo Nix has a Sean Payton offense. Like Jaden Daniels just looks talent wise overall the best.
Yeah.
Like he just is the better decision maker. Like Caleb Williams, like I said, like, it doesn't help that he doesn't really ever have a pocket. But like you're saying, like to have Odunze, Allen, Kmet with a good running back and Swift and everything, like DJ Moore, like you should be able to go out there and produce. Even if you're running around doing bootleg, like they need to run bootlegs and like sweep plays where he's able to move around and shift the pocket and stuff like that, just so that they can get these guys the ball. But he just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's Caleb Williams really has 3 all-pro wide receivers. Like if you go based on caliber, you got a top 10 pick in Odunze. You have Keenan Allen, who's an all-world receiver. DJ Moore, who's supposed to be an all-world receiver.
And Cole Kmet he's a good tight end.
He's good.
He's a
and
good
then you
tight
got
end.
DeAndre Swift, who's looked incredible these past few weeks. And
Yeah, DeAndre Swift is a really good running back. Like I said, I don't know, like because it's weird because like you're saying if you have a good running back with a good run game. Like why is the pat like how do you go from like an offensive lineman, how do you have such a good run block but you can't pass block? It's always been so strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to segue this into potentially the NFL having a development problem or a scouting problem?
So I had this argument with somebody who was like we were talking. I was sitting there being like, if you really look at these first round QBs that get drafted, I almost say like pretty close to 50% of them bust out.
Yeah.
Outside of this year, more than 50% of the top quarterbacks drafted in like the first 3 rounds. It's just been bad.
No, yeah,
but
right off the list.
it's even this year. We don't know what Penix looks like. We don't know what McCarthy looks like. Those
No.
are 2 guys that could still. And then you're talking Caleb Williams might be a bust. So that would be 3 out of the 5 QBs. 1, 2, 3,
3 out of 6.
3 out of the 6 QBs
Just half.
that could potentially be busts.
Yeah.
Last year Bryce Young and
Bust.
Anthony Richardson.
Bust.
Those are 2 first rounders. The year before that, Kenny Pickett. Terrible. The year before that, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Those are all first-round QBs.
Garbage.
That is a terrible, terrible draft class.
I mean,
And who's the draft class before
Lawrence
that?
pretty good.
The draft class before that is a good one between Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love. So that's a good
Yeah.
draft class.
They all
But
hit.
then the year before that, Kyler, Daniel Jones, and R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins. We don't know what he would have been. But between Kyler and Daniel Jones is a bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The year before that, Baker, Darnold, Allen, Rosen, Jackson. Darnold, technically
Rosen.
Darnold and Baker are busts because they were looked at to be their guys for their franchises, and Baker's now played for 4 teams.
I think Sam
Yeah.
Darnold has.
Sam
as well.
Darnold has played for 4 teams. Like those
Yeah.
guys are like even if they're having good years and Baker had a good year last year, like they technically did not get it done for their team.
Right.
Like Josh Rosen was probably one of the worst QBs to ever play.
No, he's up there, dude.
And
He's
it
up
was
there.
bad. I'm gonna go the year before that. Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson. 2 out of 3 busts.
No, Watson was
Watson
good
Watson
for
is
2.
absolutely a bust.
No,
bro.
he's
He
not.
has done,
No,
he has
because
done
you
nothing.
used bro.
He's
You used
done nothing in his career.
You just
bro.
used the logic though. He produced for his original
No,
team.
he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Bro, he had 1 good season on his original team.
No,
Bro,
he was good
he
for
had,
at least 2 or 3
he had a
years.
good. Yeah, he had a good stretch.
Deshaun
there.
Watson.
He was a top
right,
5
all right.
quarterback multiple years for the Texans.
That is
for sure.
He is garbage time fucking merchant.
I mean, if he wasn't feeling up
He
women,
is a
bro,
garbage
like,
time merchant.
If he wasn't feeling up women and sexually harassing them, I think he would have been
But he
fine.
was a garbage time merchant. All right, even if.
I think all this says is what we already know. It's like it's not. I don't think it's a scouting problem. I don't think it's a coaching problem. I think it's just really fucking hard to find a good quarterback who's competent enough and smart enough to make reads and throw the ball and play at a high level in the NFL because it's just really hard.
I think there's obviously a level of truth to that, but I think there's also, dude, Zach Wilson was drafted 2nd overall because he made some back shoulder or made some reverse bootleg throw in a scout day with no shoulder pads and no defense on, and they were like, "Oh, 2nd
Well,
overall."
it's the-
like
it's
that's
the hope-
that's a scouting issue.
That's just bad scouting.
It's
That's-
the hope
that's a
that you
scouting
find-
issue.
They're hoping that they can find the next Josh Allen.
It's just.
And it's the
But
same
did
thing.
you telling me somebody looked at Zach Wilson and was like, "This could be the next Josh Allen"?
I don't know. He's
He's not 6'5", 240
I
pounds.
think it's just the way scouting is done in professional sports these days. You see it in the NBA all the time. These guys who are great college players for 4 years at great programs who made deep runs in March Madness. Like they're falling into the second round like a guy like Jalen Brunson, whereas opposed to this guy that no one's ever seen play against good competition in Europe,
it's just
in
hope.
France, and then they're like, oh, let's draft this guy instead.
To me, it's why
he's 6'9", long, can potentially shoot threes.
Where I go, it's the scouting issue. It's why did teams look at Josh Allen and go, I don't want him. I want Baker and I want Sam. Or take a guy like Pat Mahomes and they go, I don't want him. Like, he was drafted, what, 8th, whatever he was?
10th.
I think he was like 13th, I thought.
Whatever.
That doesn't matter. He wasn't
something
like there were 9 guys drafted before him.
Yeah.
Like, or fucking Lamar Jackson was a 32nd overall pick.
Yeah, I don't
Why
know
was Josh Rosen picked before him? Like, who looked at Josh Rosen and said, "I want that over the Heisman, the Heisman winner"? You
know what it was though? They thought they wanted Lamar to convert to a running back because they didn't think he was going to. They didn't think he was going to be a good passer.
He's too skinny to be a running back.
Why are the scouts saying that the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback needs to play running back?
Maybe they're in the wrong profession.
Why are scouts and development people saying that Lamar Jackson needed to be a running back? Why are they saying like draft XYZ over Pat Mahomes? These are the things that just baffle my mind. It's like, you're supposed to be the guy that sees the talent, and what aren't you seeing? Or what are you seeing, I should say?
They're just.
I never saw it with Caleb Williams. Like, I just never. If you had said to me who of this draft would potentially be a bust, I would have probably said Caleb Williams. But I also would have said Bo Nix. So I'm wrong in that regard because Bo Nix is good.
So what?
Bo Nix is really good.
Well, like, all right. So Rawls, you are the scout. Like, who would you draft? You were the first overall Bears. Who were you drafting?
I don't know. I wasn't feeling great about any of them, and obviously I'm wrong because Jaden Daniels looks like a top. He looks like he'd be a top 10 quarterback this year.
Like, so I'm saying,
I think
what makes you not take the Heisman Trophy winner?
I agree. If you win the Heisman Trophy, you should be no later than a top 5 pick,
with
right?
You.
Like,
who won the Heisman last year though?
Jaden Daniels.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I was like, why are you taking Caleb Williams, who plays against the Pac-12 against Arizona and Utah?
He didn't even look. Caleb Williams didn't even look good at USC. He really didn't look that great.
Yeah, he makes like big plays and he ran around and did stuff. It was like, but
who are the past Heisman winners? We should probably go back and see. Like,
pull it up.
It was like,
has there been any bust Heisman winners? Is my question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because Baker won it, right? Bust.
Johnny Manziel,
bust.
Yeah, I mean,
but in recent.
All right, go. The last year,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young won it.
Bryce Young,
bust.
Devonta Smith, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker. For the most part, though,
but that's
all right. Mariota, Winston, Manziel,
RG3. If he didn't get hurt, he was a
RG3 talent-wise was a bust.
I'd say but the thing is, like,
the more you look back at it, there's a lot of busts.
Tim Tebow, Sam Bradford, Mark Ingram was solid. TJ Smith. I don't know what that is.
I'm saying as of late though, like after 2015, you're very rare to like draft a bust if they're a Heisman winner. So like if you're a top 5 team, why like this shouldn't be low on your board.
That's what I keep saying.
They shouldn't make it past 10.
Are they not developing these guys right, or are these scouts just they're looking at these big time like highlight reels and saying that this guy needs to be the one? Because don't get me wrong, if you look at Zach Wilson's highlight reel, it's unbelievable. At BYU, slinging the ball all around. He was making insane tight coverage throws.
Yes, but it's BYU, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
All right,
like,
so Josh Allen went to Wyoming.
Yeah. No, I think the thing for someone like Zach Wilson is he never had any pressure in his time at BYU. He was playing behind an offensive line where he had all the time in the world. Then you get to the NFL and you're playing for the Jets, one of the worst offensive lines in football at the time. Bad coaching staff, no weapons. And then it's all downhill from there, and from there he's in his head. So like Bryce Young could be good, but he was playing for one of the worst teams we ever seen last year, the Panthers. They were awful.
Let me ask you a question though. Like, let's say Zach Wilson is coming out of college this year or last year, and the Broncos drafted him. You think he'd be significantly better than he is right now? Significantly, or just he would be better, but like, you think he'd still be a starter in the NFL if he was like on the Broncos?
I mean,
it's
impossible to tell.
You could also, because it's like Sam Darnold right now. I mean, granted, he's had a pretty bad like last 3-4 weeks, but he came out hot out the gun. He looks like a way different quarterback than when he was a rookie. I don't know. You can make this toss up all day, but I lean towards that they have a bigger scouting problem than a development problem, because teams find their guy all the time, But it's just that the way, I think that they're scouting guys better and developing a little bit better. But I think it starts with the heart of the issue is the scouts.
Yeah.
Because why is Josh Rosen a top 10 pick? Why is Zach Wilson the number 2 overall pick?
I think it's a combination of like both those things. I think that scouting and development isn't always great, but I also think these guys, a lot of the times, the guys who come into these top picks, outside of Caleb Williams, who has good weapons, like there's usually a new coach. There's usually a bad offensive line. There's usually no weapons, and there's usually a bad defense.
But
it's hard to overcome all of that, which is why
this year it's really not.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I think they've just been great. Like Jaden Daniels, like I don't think he's in an incredible situation, but he looks amazing.
He looks like a top 5 QB.
Yeah,
but that's why I think the Patriots like kind of did it the right way. Like they let. Even though Drake May probably should have been the starter from day one, they let him watch a little bit, and they let
get a little used to the pace and everything. And now how to prepare for games.
And now he's showing a lot of promise. I think that's what most teams should do, unless like it's the surefire guy who's like by far he's going to be the star.
It's almost to me the right way is the Michael Penix way right now. He's sitting behind Kirk Cousins. Yeah. The Falcons are winning. They're going to take their picks these next like 2 or 3 years, and they're going to build a big time team. They got Drake London. They got Kyle Pitts. You got Bijan. You have a young core of guys, and then you just keep developing and signing guys that are gonna make a big impact for when he's ready to step into that role. And now you have a longevity of a quarterback and a team that is going to be able to make runs for a long time.
For at least a decade if he pans out.
Right.
So
If he ends up being the guy. But I think it's better, like you're saying, like Drake made. Watching how Jacoby Brissett, like granted he's not, better than Kirk Cousins, not even on the same level, but watching how he prepares for games, how he watches film, how he how he handles practice, it's watching these guys, do what they do, like behind them.
Right.
Not being the guy and then trying to tell you, oh, maybe you should try this, because that might get in your head a little bit too as a young guy, being like, oh, why would I listen to you? You're my backup.
Right.
You're some guy that's never done anything.
Right.
Let me reset this. I wanted to talk about potentially how many teams you guys think could win the Super Bowl. Because right now, like, oh man, I think there's only 3 teams that can win the Super Bowl right now. In my opinion, like 3 teams that actually are good enough, and like I could legitimately see making a run to winning the Super Bowl. I think it's the Chiefs, I think it's the Ravens, and I think it's the Lions. I just don't believe in the Bills in the playoffs. I don't believe in the Eagles. The Bengals, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs, although I think they're one of like the top 7 or 8 teams in the NFL. And the rest of these other teams, I just don't believe in them. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
I think the
that.
Niners can still make a run.
No.
They haven't looked great, but they can make a run. They could easily make a run.
They can't make a run.
I'm not saying like Super Bowl contenders, but I think there's a few teams like I understand saying the Buffalo Bills not having confidence in them.
It's just their offense. Like I love Josh Allen as much as it's bad as a Jets fan to like Josh Allen. Like I like him. I like watching him play.
This is like a pretty
They don't
weird
have good
year.
weapons outside of James Cook.
That's Khalil Shakir, man.
I like Shakir. He's a solid player. Amari Cooper's a solid player. Keon Coleman has upside, and he'll be great in the next few years. But if you watch them, like, there's a lot of times that offense just gets super stagnant, and they
AFC
can't really
East
do
division.
anything.
Look at the AFC East. 8-2,
It's so
3-6.
It's bad.
That's the thing. If the Jets were just decent, like they literally.
Like the AFC South.
Dude, the
4-6,
AFC is wide open this year. You don't understand how easy it is to make the playoffs. Like the Broncos are currently like favored to make
the Broncos are the third wild card at 5-5.
I'm not saying they're bad, but like
There's some people.
This changes with like 3 wins.
Yeah.
I saw something. I think it was like Caps Off on one of those TikTok podcasts, and they were saying that the guy was saying that he thinks that the Steelers have the best chance to knock off the Chiefs, but
they're gonna play them, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. That Steelers defense is fucking tough. And with Russell, that offense looks a lot better. And if it can really get clicking,
their offense looks good. And Russell's like he's just like bringing them that steadiness that Justin Fields like had his moments, but like there's just something about having a veteran like Russell Wilson where he's just gonna make the right play almost all the time. And they have decent talent, Najee Harrison.
He's also
Warren.
a guy with like a Super Bowl ring, like playoff experience.
He's got pedigree, yeah.
Right.
He's been there.
He can show you a thing.
Their defense, TJ Watt's just Dog.
Best defensive player in the league for sure. Best defense. I pulled the Jolannis there, but no. Listen. I'm a generational Jets hater. Y'all know that. I hate the Steelers even more, just because I went to school there and all that. But like, I'm here to tell you, like, they're legit contenders. They're a top 3 team in the AFC. They're scary, and like every year, I'm like, maybe this is the year they're not gonna make the playoffs. And they're 7-2 right now, and like they're gonna.
Honestly, I think they're better than the Ravens. I think they're.
We'll see this week.
I think
we'll see
I
this
said
week.
this on the last episode. Like the Ravens have a generational offense. Their defense though is garbage. Their secondary is just non-existent.
Yeah.
Teams, they're gonna get into shootouts, and as much as they can score, their defense cannot stop anyone.
Yeah.
And if they get into a duel, an offensive shootout with Patrick Mahomes, like I trust the Chiefs defense to eventually make some stops. Like that's what the Chiefs do. They win games they should not win.
Honestly, like the Chiefs just being 9-0 with
It's
Pat Mahomes,
ridiculous.
it's just not even having like it looks like last year, where he's just going to start turning it up before the playoffs start.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, let's get hot before the playoffs.
Patrick Mahomes is at the phase in his career where he doesn't give a shit about the regular season.
Yeah.
Which is insane because he's like,
He's not even
but he's
out.
28. And he's not even 30.
Fuck.
But he's like not even 30.
The Chiefs just like they like fuck around. So, like in the second half of each game, like all right, like it's time to turn it on. They find a way to win. This week they block a field goal.
Like
what
come
are the
on,
odds
bro.
of blocking a field goal to win the game?
Like,
there?
come on.
But that's just the Chiefs, bro. They win every game that they're not supposed to win.
I'm gonna make a hot take though. I don't think the Chiefs win the whole thing this year. I really don't.
I hope that you're right.
I know. I'm gonna make an even crazier take. I don't even think they make the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that because I'm doubting the Chiefs. Like I would never doubt Mahomes. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. I just think there's like. You got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bills. I think one of those 3 teams knocks them off. I think one of them does. I don't know who it is, but I think one of them does.
I only really think that Buffalo and Pittsburgh can knock them off.
You don't think the Ravens can?
The Ravens' defense is bad, bro.
You never know.
And they have a generational offense right now with Derrick Henry playing the way he's playing and Lamar, who I want to talk about after this. But dude, like
back-to-back MVP.
Back to back, bro. I'll just get right into it. I was looking this up today because right now, like, I think we can all agree if the season ended today, Lamar Jackson would be the MVP
For sure.
That would be he'd be a back-to-back MVP. He's 27. He's turning 28 this year. If he wins this year, he'd be one of 7 players in NFL history to have 3 MVPs. He's played so far as we like current time of recording this podcast. He's played 96 games. Unitas has 3. He's played 211. James Brown has 3. He's played 118. Then you go to Brett Favre with 4, 302 games. Tom Brady, 335 games. He's got 3. And then it's like Rodgers, who's over 40, who has 4, and then Manning obviously has 5. But like,
yeah.
Tom Brady only has 3 MVPs.
Yeah, but bro, if Lamar Jackson gets his 3rd MVP, becomes one of 7 players in NFL history to have 3 MVPs, and he's gonna be at the end of the season 28.
Yeah,
like bro, like he's becoming like one of the all-time great quarterbacks.
So my question to you is, and I think I know my answer to this, but let's just say he wins this MVP, 3-time MVP. Let's say he wins another one, or like. Doesn't win another.
The way he plays, bro, he's definitely gonna end up with like 4 or 5.
Right. So let's say
he's
he
just
does.
so explosive. Like he really is.
He is. But let's just say he doesn't win a ring. Is he a Hall of Famer in your book?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
I would say so, but some people are gonna be.
The NFL Hall of Fame is a joke.
I would say some people will be reluctant because he didn't get the job done. You know, I still think he is.
The NFL Hall of Fame is a joke.
Even if Lamar's career ended today, he had 2 MVPs, didn't finish out this season. He's got a Heisman. Is it the NFL Hall of Fame or the Football Hall of Fame?
NFL. But
either way, 2 Heismans.
In the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was like because basketball is just the Basketball Hall of Fame
is a joke.
Like the Basketball Hall of Fame.
If you play like 7 years, you're like, hey, here's a fucking gold jacket. They give it out to a lot of guys. To me, at 2 MVPs, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I don't know about that.
I agree. I think 2 MVP. Bro, I don't know about these are the guys with 2
Not
MVPs
2.
right now. Here's the top. Steve Young is at. He's got 2.
Kurt Warner's got 2. You're talking about 2 MVPs and Super Bowl winners, which I get. Right. I get the argument, but if he has
also look at how. But look
with 2 MVPs, he's making the Hall of Fame.
The thing that stood out to me was looking at the games played, because obviously James Brown is he's the best running back probably of all time.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, James Brown.
It's Jim Brown.
It's Jim Brown. I mean, I'm sure his birth name is James.
Isn't James?
James Brown is like the musician.
James Brown's the
He's
musician.
like the
Yeah, but James is like Jim is short for James.
yeah, but everyone calls him
no one calls him James.
Brown,
Whatever.
bro.
No,
Come
one
on,
no one calls him James.
you non-ball knower. Come on, bro.
Whatever, dude. Jim Brown. Sorry.
I thought you said James Brown the first time. I was like, all right.
I
Yeah.
just like
Big
it's just-
payback out here.
I don't know. It's just like the way I don't know. I'm an idiot.
It's float
so.
off the tongue, huh?
Either way, though, it's just crazy that he's already there, and obviously Mahomes is there too. And Mahomes, he could never
Mahomes
play
is on
another
that.
snap, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer himself.
Mahomes
but-
could break his clavicle tomorrow and walk his
Second,
way.
and he's the second best quarterback.
Yes. Not a doubt.
Would he be
Arm
second?
could get
I think
torn
he'd
off.
probably be third behind Manning. 5 MVPs is crazy.
That's crazy.
He does have 2 Super
you know
Bowls
what's
too.
crazy?
so-
Being like 27 years old and having 3 rings.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I mean, Mahomes is.
I just think
Mahomes is going to end up being the best quarterback of all time.
Mahomes is going to play at least another 12, 13
He's
years.
playing until he's 40.
Yeah, with 12, 13 years.
He's
This
proven
is
that
crazy.
he doesn't need to move to be good because when he won that Super Bowl against the Eagles, he was playing on one leg.
Mahomes is 29, has two MVPs and 3 Super Bowls. He gets 2 more Super Bowls, which he might get one this year. He gets, it's just he's unbelievable.
We've never seen this before, but
No, yeah, I just want to. I was like, I just
I've
ended
seen
up.
this before.
Yeah,
no,
I
I'm
was
saying
just-
like this early though. Like Brady didn't have
He had
what
three-
Mahomes
he had
has.
3 within his first 6 years, 7 years.
And how old was he within
What,
his?
he went 02, he went 02, 03, 04, whatever it was.
But I'm saying like
he started in he's
age-wise-
drafted in 99. Drafted in 2000. I'm sorry. Tom Brady was drafted in 2000 and then had 3 Super Bowls by the time he was like the same thing.
Bro,
So,
you were chomping on that gum, and I'm gonna hear it in the mic, and I'm gonna want to shoot myself.
My bad, Rob. I am chopping on it. But yeah, back to the Lamar
ridiculous.
thing. Like I think who's your number 2 quarterback in the league? Is it Josh Allen or is it Lamar Jackson?
Lamar.
I think it's Lamar. Right?
Right now, Lamar's playing way better than Pat.
I'm saying like
I know,
like,
but
like
people aren't
Mahomes
gonna-
is number 1, but like
Lamar,
starting a franchise with you're taking Lamar over Josh
and
Allen.
a toss up between Allen and Burrow.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen's for sure better than Joe
I think
Burrow right
I
now.
don't know about that. I think his
he
team.
has not
I
been
think
that
his
great
team,
this year.
He's
He
been
really
fine.
hasn't.
He's been more than fine,
I think
dude.
he's been.
He hasn't
More than
been,
fine,
like-
though. If you take him
I don't
off
want the way Josh Allen's played this year. Yes, they're 8-2. Yes, he's played very well. Joe Burrow's been insane these past few weeks. Like he has been single. If that defense was decent, the Bills have a good defense. If the Bengals had the Bills' defense, they would be in a much different scenario right now. I still think Josh Allen's better than Joe Burrow, but I think it's close. Yeah, those are probably the 4. Like you can't really debate those 4.
you can't.
You can't debate the top 4, quarterbacks.
They're
There's
just-
just
they're locked
obviously
in.
Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Then from there's a few guys you can toss it up to. But those 4, bro, like they're on another level right now.
No doubt about it. I think Herbert's probably got the 5 spot for me, but
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying.
yeah. I mean, who'd
He's
you
a
put
good
above
he's a
him,
good
you know?
quarterback. I don't know. I haven't thought about it honestly. He's been great this year. His numbers don't stand out at all, but they're winning
Yeah.
football games.
I was gonna say Goff until he had a 5 interception game and still won. That just
We
shows
should
you
talk
how
about
good
the Lions for a
Yeah.
second because I genuinely think they are the Super Bowl favorites right now.
as they should be.
The way they're playing, bro, the fact that Jared Goff can have a 5 interception game and you still come back and win is just ridiculous. Against a good team in the Texans, too. Not like
Yeah.
they're playing the Panthers or something.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing a good team, decent defense, good offense they're going up against, bro. It's like, I bet on them, too. I won like $100 on the Lions coming back and winning that
like
game.
you bet them when they were down.
So I had a parlay which I had them in a money line with, which like was based around that game with like Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I'd always take Jahmyr Gibbs like rushing plus receiving, like 80. He gets over it every week. I had a parlay with the Eagles and the Lions to win, and then at halftime, me and Donnie were watching. We were like, so I threw 5. It was plus 630, and it won like $40.
Wow.
So I ended up. I would have had nothing. I ended up winning like $80 off it.
All right.
Good
Yeah, no,
vibes.
I think the Lions are they're at least my favorite, my Super Bowl favorites at the moment. I think we were talking about this earlier, but I think they should be the favorite to knock off the Chiefs by far. I don't think there's anyone really close. They just have it all together, and like imagine they had Aiden Hutchinson, like that, they'd even be even like better. So I think Goff put it together. I think the offense is clicking. Ben Johnson's going to be a Jaguar next year, so he's one of the best young offensive minds we've seen in the last decade. So
it doesn't hurt that he's got the best offensive line in football, two stud running backs, a top 5 wide receiver, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and a good quarterback.
But I'm happy for the Lions though. Like this
Trust
is what
me,
you get.
He's gonna come to if he came to the Jags or the Jets, it would not be this smooth sailing. I promise
you never know, bro. You never
it
know.
would not be smooth sailing.
I mean, for him though, like, wouldn't you rather go like coach Aaron Rodgers?
No,
instead of
no,
Russ
he would
Lawrence?
not.
I don't think he would because Aaron Rodgers just dictates everything that happens. Joe Douglas will be out of here, thank God, by then.
I don't see how people say that. I really don't. Like, what has he not done? Like, he gives,
bro.
but like he's given everybody everything you've ever wanted. It's not his fault that fucking
Aaron Rodgers sucks.
went down and then he fucking sucks now. Like, how is that his fault that Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles?
He had like one good draft. He also drafted Zach Wilson, bro.
He also drafted Sauce.
So who saw
Ahmad
Gardner?
Bro, he drafted Sauce. He drafted Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Joe Tittman, Olaf Fashanu. He's signed Quincy Williams. He's
all right.
Extensions to DJ Reed. Like
Joe Douglas could give us Jesus Christ himself, and we would still go 7-10.
Right, but like, how is that his fault? Like, bro, he's given us all the talent in the world. Will McDonald has turned into one of the better pass rushers in the NFL.
You ever see Mervitz's tweets at Woody Johnson? Every week.
That's another one. Woody Johnson,
yeah.
like, the team sucked, but like, guy goes out and spends all the fucking money in the world, but the talent doesn't produce. It's not his fault.
It's just. But what is the problem then? They cannot field a winning team.
It's the coaching, bro. Like,
who's in charge of finding a coach? Is it
Woody
or is it Joe Douglas?
What's the GM?
But once again,
right?
was Robert Saleh? Robert Saleh clearly wasn't the issue.
Right.
No, there's something just
right. But like, you brought it. But like,
it's the coaching. The play.
This year you brought it, or last year you brought in Aaron Rodgers, who brought his buddy along, Nathaniel Hackett, who everybody should have known was a fucking trash OC.
The fact that it's just that this is where Joe Douglas screwed himself. Obviously, drafting Zach Wilson doesn't help his case, but he brought a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers in, and he just let him do whatever he wanted with the team. And unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, one of the best of all time, clearly a horrible GM because they brought in a bunch of his buddies who are garbage. And the biggest thing, like you said, bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, the guy, we saw what he did in Denver. He's an atrocious coach.
Once again,
the Jets looked like shit again.
He trades for Devontae Adams. He traded for Hassan Reddick, who I get it didn't.
But he's played the last 2 weeks.
The contract things, but he's done everything that everybody expects and more. He signed 2 fucking major offensive tackles. You know, he drafted a young one so that when those guys are gone, he has a good young core of offensive linemen. He has a good young core of Brees, Garrett, Malachi.
Malachi Corley, that guy's a bozo.
Well, he has
dropping touchdowns.
Listen, he has a good young core of guys and good veterans around. On paper, they should be a really good fucking team.
Yeah, on paper, game ain't played on paper.
But
Joe Douglas is gonna he'll get one more year.
But Jeff Ulbrich obviously can't fucking coach the defense and be the head coach. He was obviously just running Robert Saleh game plans out there, and just they were effectively doing them because when he's taking over as the head coach and trying to be the
defense is just trash now.
The defense is terrible.
How does that happen though? What happens over a few weeks where the defense just
because Robert Saleh is making the game plans that he is implementing.
But couldn't he still
it's Robert Saleh.
He's around Saleh for how many years? He can't figure out how to scheme somewhat similarly.
Not as well as Robert Saleh can.
The thing is, Joe Douglas is going to get this year because they're going to give him until Rodgers is done. If Rodgers has one more year, they're not going to because they're going to want a new GM to come in and draft a quarterback. So unless they decide to draft a quarterback this year and have him sit under Rodgers,
and that new
new
GM is going to benefit off the team that was built by Joe Douglas.
Yeah. Well, who cares if the Jets end up winning? They get a good team. That might be, you might be right. That might be the best case for them. Draft a quarterback at the top of the draft this year. Let them sit behind Rodgers. Bring in a new head coach. If they bring in a new head coach, they're bringing in and draft a quarterback. They're bringing in a new GM to do that. It's not going to be Douglas.
Do you think they're gonna fire Joe Douglas this offseason? Like knowing what you know
I don't
now.
think they will.
I think
they're going to go for it one more year.
if they go like 7-10, no. If they go like 5-12, yes.
5-12.
But I don't see like they've gone 7-10 the last 2 years. It's another 7-10 year. Why would you?
Because like he's saying, if you go 7-10, it kind of gives you a little bit of hope that maybe. If you give Rodgers another year off of the Achilles, that he can kind of turn it around.
That's the one thing. If you look at most guys, like Saquon, right, coming off his ACL, the first year he wasn't that good back. Then obviously the next year after that is usually when the guys get back to form.
The huge difference is that Saquon was in 42 coming off.
That is the big difference, and that's just me being like optimistic.
He's
like
also not playing. He's also playing quarterback where. Yeah, I get it, his mobility and everything. But I said this earlier to Overnight. To me, his big issue is for some reason he's like lacked this confidence in throws. When it's like the quick slants and stuff like that, he looks fine. But when he's trying to throw the ball like 20 yards down the field, he's like lacking this confidence in himself to make the throw. When he showed in the Houston game, he can make the throws. The arm's still there. It's something in his head where he's almost like put so much pressure on himself that he's like holding back from like being the guy that he should be able to be. And it's annoying because there's guys open all day long and he just holds the ball and then you see him just stare at him and then just not throw it to him. Just check him down.
Sounds like a lot of what's going to happen in about 4 weeks when the Jags beat the Jets in Jacksonville. And then
now it's going to be 28-17 Jets.
Yeah.
T-Law might not play.
T-Law might not play. His non-throwing shoulder has a bruise on it.
All right, bro. You've clearly never sprayed an AC joint before in your shoulder, but
I've clearly never injured my right arm and had to throw it and been out of the game.
I don't know. I think it's time for an Aaron Rodgers would you rather.
all right, let's do it.
Aaron Rodgers would you rather. We're talking right now. Right now this season, if you were building a team from scratch, only had this year to play, who are you taking? So first up is Aaron Rodgers or Baker Mayfield?
Baker,
for sure.
Baker comfortably right now. Aaron Rodgers or the other guy coming off an Achilles, Kirk Cousins?
Kirk.
Kirk Cousins.
Without a doubt.
these are like
These are layups.
These are like no doubters.
Aaron Rodgers or Trevor Lawrence?
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm still going Aaron Rodgers. Trevor Lawrence has not been
crazy,
good.
Bro. This is crazy. He's literally 10th in the league in QBR. I think that's a great set. And he's also 11th in adjusted EPA, which is like the
What
best.
is adjusted? We're bringing up adjusted EPA.
Buddy shows us a thing
listen,
where
for
Trevor
you
Lawrence
Balnos
was the most efficient quarterback. I was saying he's been more efficient than Jaden Daniels, which was absolutely obscene.
For you Balnos out there, you know EPA. You know EPA.
These expected, it's like the assholes in baseball who tell me about WOBA. Yeah, he's supposed to do this, but guess what? He fucking doesn't. So it's crazy.
I think Trevor Lawrence is leaps and bounds better than Aaron Rodgers right now.
Enough. Leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds
is ridiculous.
Leaps
If you want to
and
say
bounds.
that, if you want to
It's
say
not
that,
Aaron
close.
Rodgers has been bad. Aaron
been
Rodgers
bad.
has not led one game-winning drive this year, right? Am I wrong about that?
No.
He's had plenty of opportunities.
He's had 3 opportunities to win a game.
And what, 2 were shanked field goals that realistically
one
should have
was, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Greg Zuerlein has lost us 3 football games.
100%.
Also. He has lost it. Like, there are 3 games that Greg Zuerlein has lost us.
been. Yeah.
I just can't believe you guys watched the.
It just sucks that against those teams, that was what it came down to.
You literally just watched 3 hours worth of the Jets dropping 6 points against the Cardinals, and then you're sitting here defending Aaron Rodgers. Like I just
Didn't you guys just lose?
Mac Jones was playing, bro.
Either way.
Yeah, T.L. ain't playing. So
Once again, my 42-year-old off an Achilles is out there every week.
He bruised his non-throwing arm.
My 26-year-old with a bruise in his non-throwing shoulder is not out there. My 150 million, whatever.
I'm just saying T.L's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Is mid at best.
Yeah, okay,
Let's keep it going.
The Jets fans saying this.
Aaron Rodgers or Tua Tagovailoa?
Aaron Rodgers.
And this is assuming Tua stays on the field all year.
I'm saying Tua. I mean, I think Tua's an idiot, but like, Like,
He
you
really
see-
is,
Bro, did you
honestly.
see that head first tackle after
Yes.
his pick? Bro, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
What are we doing? What is he doing?
Maybe he's like that far gone though.
He has
didn't
to
realize.
be. He has to be.
Or maybe
But-
he understands he's playing the game of fucking football, boys. Like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
probably
this is a collision sport.
It's just like
all
Josh
right?
Allen. Josh Allen's coach was like, yeah, I fully understand. Like,
This is
what
a
I'm doing.
collision sport, bro. It's beyond contact. It's a collision sport.
All right, last up, Aaron
You
Rodgers.
gotta be willing to tweet cracker of the day every once in a while to go make that bag.
All right, last up, we got Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith.
Come on, stop! Don't you dare think about Gino.
I'm thinking
Bro,
about
stop.
it. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Gino's trash.
So is Aaron Rodgers right
Gino
now.
is
Are we watching the same season, bro? Like, what do you mean?
Apparently not.
The Seahawks are a good team mainly because of Geno.
They're
What
like
are you talking
they're
about?
4-5. They're not a good
They're
team.
not a good team.
They got one more win better than the Jets. So listen, I'm
Geno's
going.
probably been better than
I
Rodgers.
think
though.
Geno's
Gino's
better than
got
Rodgers.
he's got 11 touchdowns to 10 interceptions.
All right.
Aaron Rodgers has 15 to 7.
Okay,
All right, yeah,
and
that's true.
It's so much different, bro. Stop.
You might be right.
Gino
all right,
is
It's
check-
Aaron
trash.
Rodgers.
check-
It's Aaron Rodgers.
Gino is trash. Stop it.
Check their QBRs.
Bro,
Let's
enough
see who's
with
high.
What about the
QBR?
advanced EPA?
Yeah,
What
what
about
is it?
yeah,
Wait,
what
check
about
the
what
EPA.
about his
Wait, what
WOBA?
is
EPA?
advanced? Do you know what that is, or you
Is
just read
WOBA.
stuff?
I have no idea.
Bro, just on football, right?
Bro just saw a chart that said, "Oh, Trevor Lawrence is good."
I mean,
And
listen. I know EPA is good,
What
so
is
the
that?
higher EPA is like something I don't even know, bro.
Estimated pass attempts.
Well, it's literally like from what I got from that, it's like what his expected like stuff was. I was just like, this is a nonsense stat.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah,
Jules just admitting that he has no idea what it is the funniest part. Of it.
EPA.
All right, Aaron Rodgers and Geno Smith are 0.3 in total QBR away from each other.
Expected points added, meaning expected points added.
Expected.
Yes,
Not
which
delivered.
based
Not
off play.
delivered. Not delivered.
Yeah, due to other various things, meaning
Like what, Travis?
meaning a running back fumbles
Travis
or
Etienne?
exactly.
Meaning I don't get the job done.
No.
Yeah.
So if Trevor Lawrence drives into the 1 yard line and Travis Etienne fumbles, Trevor Lawrence has a high EPA because he didn't do anything wrong. That's a good fucking stat. What do you mean, bro? Expected points added. Trevor Lawrence is better than Aaron Rodgers, and Geno Smith is better than Rodgers.
This stat.
What are you talking about? bro?
Here's a little saying that goes perfect with this stat. If the queen had balls, she'd be king.
How does that relevant?
Because it's an if.
Because it's if he did
It's
this,
not
if he
it's
did
proven.
that.
It's proven.
It's not. It's
EPA.
not.
No.
It's
Because
a proven stat that
It's a
an
proven
analytics
stat of what
nerd
you've
made in
done.
his
Because
basement.
I'm expecting things, but you know what?
No.
If you keep expecting things, you're just always going to be let
Burke's just not
You're
tuned
2
in like as tuned in
and
as I
8.
am,
Your 2
bro.
and 8 Jaguars
Okay.
are the most
Tilo's
expected.
expected
I
points added.
I was expecting to be 8
2 and 8.
So what's gonna happen when we hop on the pod?
That expected receiving core was supposed to be tops in the league.
No,
and when they were healthy, they were still fucking trash.
But what's gonna happen in a month when the Jags beat the Jets and we come back on the pod?
not gonna.
Okay, but okay. So you said it's a lock for you. What if it happens? What if it happens? Because it's really it's closer than you think, buddy.
It is closer.
We're
I'm gonna tell you this right
one
now.
win away. So
Yo, little bro, enjoy Gabe Davis, bro.
listen.
Davis, bro.
So
Get this
I
shit off
want
my
to listen. In
airwaves.
4 weeks, I want a public apology, and I want you to admit Trevor Lawrence is better than Rodgers on the pod when we win. That's all I'm asking for. All right, bet. It's a fucking
You know
bet.
what's gonna go crazy too is if Aaron Rodgers these next like 3 weeks before he plays the Jags is unbelievable, and then he has a
listen.
mediocre game against the Jags, and then I have to sit here and say,
Yeah, bro.
Trevor Lawrence is out for a non-throwing
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah.
injury.
Yeah, you saw it here first. Burke's gonna be on his knees begging for forgiveness.
Ew, all right. There will be no on their knees. There will
Begging
be
for
none of that.
forgiveness, bro.
There will be no on their knees.
T-Law
Begging for forgiveness.
is T-Law lefty or righty?
He's a righty. I said
Bro,
I'm left-handed.
Did you just ask that?
I don't watch Trevor Lawrence play football.
All right, so how are you gonna say he did, bro? I'm not a part of the app. So he's a stat watcher. He's a stat watcher.
Tua is the only.
He's a stat watcher.
I'll admit to the podcast, I do not waste my time watching Jaguars games.
Tua
Yes.
is the only starting
Yes.
quarterback that is left-handed.
Yes.
I think Bo Penix might be the other one. There might be.
Mike Penix, yeah.
I mean, Tilo
sorry,
will probably be
Mike
out,
Penix.
bruised pinky in his left hand. He's
Yeah,
out
all right,
he's
bro.
out against the Jets.
Meanwhile, last year he was concussed. He had a bum
definitely
knee,
not
a bum
concussed.
ankle. He was
He was
concussed.
bro,
He had a concussion. He literally left the game because he got a concussion. What do you
Bro, he
mean?
left the game then.
And he had a severely sprained ankle. He had the same injury he had last year. He had the same injury he had last year, and he's played through that. So I don't want to hear anything, bro. He had all of us at the same
He is
time.
10 ply
Yeah,
Charmin
all right,
baby soul.
All right, bro. All right, well, listen.
Shit off my
Hey, we'll see week 15. We'll see week 15 is all I'm saying, bro.
I mean, I don't have too much more. I mean, Jamar Chase, one of the best fantasy performances of all time. Do you have? Oh wait, Miguel has some.
Was that better than that? What was that Deshaun Jackson game? No, it was the Michael Vick game. No, yeah.
I don't even remember, but I think it was.
Because
I think it
Michael
was up
Vick
there.
had like almost 60 one time. Yeah, what are the top
He's
fantasy?
still best.
Yeah, but for being a quarterback, it's less points for throwing and less points for receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I
Right.
think his was because he was running.
Probably rushing,
No,
but
that was the game he had like 5 or 6 passing touchdowns.
Oh shit! It says he didn't crack the top 5.
what?
Fantasy. Oh yeah, paywall. Fuck the Athletic.
Yeah, Ross, get that bread up, bro.
I actually have the Athletic. I just don't know my login.
You have the Athletic?
It's like 99 cents a month or some shit.
Bro, the Athletic is a joke.
I think I wanted to read something once, so I signed up for it. I think, bro,
All time.
Alvin had a 53-point week one time on that Christmas day.
Oh, because you know what?
Portis,
Because they're not
55.
Clinton Portis. They're not going to count this as a PPR thing.
Sean Alexander, 53.
Yeah, so I'm sure these are probably like actually, if it was PPR, Jamar would probably be higher, right? Like,
Oh, wait,
Jamar's was some of these guys.
Ooh, this has StatMuse has all time, I think.
wait, go to the top.
Where's
Bro,
Jamar?
we're going off Gale Sayers. Like, come on. You talking straight up 1950s?
The best fantasy performance of all time would have been
Who's B Cannon, bro?
Billy Cannon. Billy Cannon, a tight end. He had 373 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he rushed for 216.
Well, yeah, but that was when like
No,
Wait, that can't be
This guy's a
accurate.
quarterback.
Oh, okay.
guy's a
Billy
quarterback.
Cannon's a
Because he
quarterback.
also had 2 receiving touchdowns that day.
He threw
Jesus Christ.
Billy Cannon. He threw for 373 yards, 5 touchdowns, rushed for 216, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he had 114 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
Bro, how
and
is
he
that
was
possible?
kick returning.
How is that possible? Is he the best player of all time? Like, yo.
It says he's a tight end here, bro. Look.
But I feel like there's not enough time in the NFL game for all those stats. You know what I mean? Like
1961 too.
Billy
insane.
Cannon.
Tyreek Hill with a 57-point game. Alvin Kamara's was a 56-point game.
Jerry Rice had a 65-point game.
James Brown with a 55-point game.
Wait, Jerry Rice had a 5-touchdown game? That is ridiculous.
Joe Mixon like last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago with that 55-point game.
He had 3 touchdowns? He had 5?
He had 5.
Wow.
I think that was like against Houston. Or
Nice.
something.
Oh, wait, didn't Alvin Kamara have the 5 too?
He had 6. He had 6. Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
What was that Michael Vick game?
I don't know.
Except the cookies. What does accepting cookies even do? Oh, Mike Vick's was 49 points.
Yeah.
330 passing yards, 4 tutties, and 2 rushing tutties.
Bro, I'll say the crazy thing though is like Jamar Chase has like the highest upside. Like, you know, like if you're talking fantasy, the dude will have like 6 points one week, and then the next week he goes for like 20 targets, 15 catches, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards.
Who do you think is the second best guy in the league?
Receiver?
Yeah.
Are we talking about
Jettis
today?
is one.
Yeah, the Jets is obviously one.
I think Jettis is one. Jamar. All right,
I think right now there's
who would be the next in line?
I think right now it's
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is, if not the best, he's the second best wide receiver.
He's
So
not
take,
bad. He's not bad.
take out Jettis and Jamar. Who you got?
Tyreek.
CD. Tyreek, stop.
Tyreek. You gotta remember, he's still fucked up from when the cops like fucked him up opening week, bro. Like he said that he's playing with like an injury where like
I got an excuse for everything.
bro, and also he was playing with Tyler Huntley for half the season.
He's had Tua the past 3 weeks. I took him for 50+ yards this week on primetime with Tua. He got like 13 yards.
I'm taking Garrett Wilson.
Or 24 yards. Garrett Wilson. I was wrong.
Garrett Wilson's a dog.
For what it's worth, Brian Thomas Jr. is better than Garrett Wilson.
No, he's not. But Brian Thomas Jr. is good. He's very good.
Also, but no.
Garrett Wilson just made the catch of the decade, and you're gonna have the fucking balls to say that.
Congrats, brother. Like, congrats, bro. Like it doesn't move
Get
me.
that cock out of your mouth.
It doesn't move me, man. It doesn't.
It doesn't
Garrett
move-
Wilson.
Yeah. You're like fucking Raleigh. Raleigh telling me you guys sucks. Then the guy comes out and has like 100 fucking receiving yard performance. He goes, and then the potentially best catch of the decade. I'm not moved.
I'm not moved, bro.
Literally, quote, like word for word. Raleigh goes, I'm not moved.
I'm just gonna, you know what it is, and we only have like a minute until this thing runs out. But the Jets have just been so frustrating that it's like I can't even celebrate the bet because I know, bro, they have that amazing win against the Texans on primetime.
This is what happens when you're a Met and Jet fan. It's just you're just fucking
They're
miserable.
3-7.
just miserable.
You let your hopes get
You're
up, and then they
just
scored
miserable.
6 points.
Yeah, why
No,
not, bro?
Rawls, you were just a realistic Jets fan.
No,
Burke
like,
and
this is
Joe
what being
Blackwell
a
and
fan
Robbie
is.
are just
This is
delusional.
what being a fan is.
No,
bro. Like,
I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan.
You're going week after week being like, we're gonna win this week.
No, I'm so
Yeah,
done.
my dumbass is gonna believe that the Jets are gonna win this week too.
I'm just a realistic
Absolutely,
fan,
Anthony
bro.
Richardson's playing. Guy can't complete a pass. Like you gotta win this game. Yo, that 44% completion percentage. That's another one. Like, what were you guys looking at that this dude's a first round draft pick?
Yeah, I don't know. Like they just saw he was fast and like had a big arm, and they just said
Yeah,
we
Josh
can
Allen.
change him.
So did
That's-
Jamarcus Russell.
All right, it's
That's
about
true.
to run out. So good episode,
Good
people. Subscribe if you're watching still, which no one's watching this. So subscribe.